Hi, this is my 4-month update. See how I got these bad boys. Welcome to the Carnivore Nation. This is only going to be a short one today. It's just to give you an update on my 4-month progress on the carnivore lifestyle. So for the last 122 days, I've been living the carnivore lifestyle. I've managed to lose 53 pounds. My blood pressure is now well within the normal zones. My resting heart rate is as best it's probably ever been, well, in the last 30 years. Sleeping better, not snoring. I'm much happier myself. I'm got so much more energy and go in me, it's unbelievable. My mind is so much sharper and I can think so much more quicker and more detailed. I'm not so sort of lethargic. So I found that the whole journey so far absolutely fantastic and phenomenal. Obviously, I've seen what I will say, if you are going on it or starting it, you seem to go through certain phases. So the first phase is you go into it and you're a bit apprehensive. Your body goes through a few quick changes. So obviously with the stomach chemistry, and obviously I had a half a day of interesting bowel movements, let's say. I found that I didn't crave anything, but there were certain things I thought I was going to miss didn't happen. I found very quickly that weight started to fall off me, and it seemed really difficult to compute because I'm adding fat to my diet that I never had before, and I'm losing more fat. It seems almost like an oxymoron, but it isn't. It's brilliant. Then I found myself going into the second phase after a couple of weeks, and my energy levels just soared. My chemistry and my body must have been doing overtime because I was waking earlier, but I was awake and I was having to get up, or I was reading books, or because I couldn't lay in bed, where before I was a bit lethargic getting in and out of bed. Obviously, one of the reasons I went for this lifestyle was to lose weight, which I have very successfully done. I'm now down at the levels that I was 18, 19 when I was competing at judo at a decent level. So I'm well chuffed at 57 to be down to that. However, what I didn't expect was this increased energy, this great feeling of positivity that it brings me, this lack of I'm probably working 14, 15 hour days now because I can. I'm not coming home from work and sitting on the sofa and dozing off during a program or something. I'm as good to go at 10 o'clock at night as I am at 6, 7 in the morning. So it's been a real game changer for me. A lot of people ask me, do I get bored of what I'm eating? Well, who could ever get bored of eating steak? Although I love steak and I could never get bored of eating steak, but I have created more of a variety. I will sometimes do chicken wings in the air fryer, and I will show some of those on little shorts. I've got them recorded, I've just got to edit and put them up. I love using 20% fat minced beef, making my own burgers or making various different versions. I'm playing around with doing my own version of a Scotch egg, so it's obviously a hard-boiled egg wrapped in mincemeat. And then I've ordered some pork rind crumb that I'm going to use as coating instead of breadcrumbs, and then I can fry them in animal fat. So I just think that you can make it as big a variety as you want, but I'm not bored of what I'm eating. I'm actually really enjoying it. But the most interesting thing, which is where I would say where I went into phase 3 of the transition, was I was suddenly finding, without even realising it, I was intermittently fasting. So if I had a steak at, say, our lunchtime, I wouldn't even feel the slightest bit hungry until probably mid-afternoon the next day. So I noticed that my eating would reduce easily to one, what I would call a heavy protein meal, which would normally consist of a steak or bacon, eggs. I sometimes threw a little bit of mozzarella cheese in just to add a bit of variety, added plenty of salt. But I was finding that I was skipping meals, but not because I was thinking of skipping meals. I was just skipping meals because I wasn't hungry. And, seeing some of the posts of the likes of Dr. Ken Berry and Dr. Chafee said that eat when you're hungry. And if you're hungry, eat as much as you can eat until you don't feel hungry anymore. So I kind of used that ethos, and I have found that that's been brilliant. And I have twice, I'd probably say in this period, actually gone 24, 36 hours without eating and not realising it, which is incredible. The only thing I did have an issue with early on was I did have a few cramps, and I suffered from cramps before I'd done the lifestyle. So obviously I got myself some electrolytes. So these are the ones that I use. I'll put a link below. These are fantastic. When I first started doing it, I was taking 1 to 2 a day. I'd say now I'm taking probably 5 over the course of a week at best. And that normally ties in with me doing some working out and building up a bit of a sweat. Then I will take a 1 or 2 just to counterbalance to make sure that I don't have any after effects. That's the other incredible thing I've noticed, that now I've started working out this last month or so, I don't get the aches and pains, the muscle pains, the acid retained in the muscle. That's not there at all. So I could work out one day, and if I wanted to, I could work out the next day. I'm not a member of a gym. I have been a member of a gym many times and never really used it like most of us. We join a gym, we go in there enthusiastic, and within 2 or 3 months we're going once a week, and suddenly that ends up being once a fortnight. Then it becomes, oh, I'm paying money and I'm not even going. So I have a pull-up bar in my garage. I can do press-ups, sit-ups, squat thrusts, burpees, all that sort of side of it, and I've got the energy to do it, and I have no problem. I have an urge to go running. I really fancy going running. I've not started yet, but I think I will do a run and see how I get on. I used to find running so boring, but I do now have some podcasts that I can listen to, and I might give that a go. But running's not really been, unless I'm wearing a suit of armour, I tend to don't do running, but that's another story for another time. Obviously, people ask me what I'm looking to achieve with the channel. I did a fantastic, cool online meeting with the Carnivore soldier in Texas. He's a great guy. He's been one of the inspirations that really got me pushing through after the first week or so. When you start something, you do a lot of research, you do a lot of, I saw the Dr. Berries and the Chafies and the Kilts, but Carnivore soldier, who I recommend you going to see, and I'll put a link to his Carnivore side. He's way down the line further than me. He's posted plenty of information and he's well worth it. His Humpty days are really good to watch as well. But he asked me last week about it. He said, what is my intention for the channel? And I've sort of thought it through, and it's a combination really. I've called it Carnivore Nation because I want it to embrace others. I want others to share their story. I want to investigate things so others can find information that might be of helpful use to them. Obviously, I'm not medically or scientifically trained at this stage, so anything I say is an opinion. So that's the one disclaimer I have, but I've been my own medical experiment and I've been blown away by the results. And for me, I can see the carnivore lifestyle being what it is, a lifestyle, and I can't see myself diverging off it. This last month or so, where I've been well within my target weight, I've experimented a bit. I tried cooking some sweet potatoes and tried to see what the results were. And interesting enough, the next day I felt a little sluggish. Not massively, but you could tell I'd lost the edge a little bit. Another time I met up with some friends, and where I've been drinking sparkling water, I decided to have a couple of pints. I think I had 3 pints that afternoon. And I did find, of beer that is, not of spirits or anything, I'm not quite that bad yet. But I did find the next day I could feel the after effects. I could feel nothing major, don't get me wrong, and it wasn't something I think, oh my God, but I did notice, I could feel that there was a little bit of the loss of the edge of the energy levels, but that came back quite quickly. I carried on with the carnivore meals that I was doing for myself, and I was back in 24 hours, I was back to where I normally am, bouncing around like Tigger. So well pleased with the results on that. So one of the things I wanted to do with the channel, I want to use it. If I can make it big enough and successful enough that I can earn some money, I'm going to put the money towards doing a PhD. And I'm trying to just fine tune what I'm going to do the PhD about. I'm looking at nutrition. However, I have my father, who was one of the fittest men I ever knew growing up. I think as most of our fathers probably are. But he used to fish, he used to wildfowl. We used to eat fantastic meals growing up. We had pheasants and partridge and goose and pigeon and mullet and plaice and cod, and we ate like kings really. And I do feel that he, in his mid-40s, became diabetic not through diet, but through a shock. He had a thrombosis that went to his lung, and I think the shock triggered it. However, my grandfather was diabetic, my great-grandfather was diabetic, and my great-great-grandfather diabetic. So there's clearly a weakness in the pancreas genetically down our bloodline. I have 6 older brothers. One of my older brothers is now diabetic. So I did feel that I was heading in a certain direction. So this carnivore, for me, is, really challenged that and made me feel that I've pushed that much further away, if ever again now. So, but I do feel that watching my father, once he was diabetic and he switched to a low-fat diet, how he deteriorated in terms of health and strength, and he developed dementia, and unfortunately before he passed away, the last 18 months or so was almost like living with a stranger, or he could only remember childhood things, and it's a really horrible, cruel disease to watch one of your parents pass away from. So, but I'm convinced, witnessing firsthand how he deteriorated once he had changed his diet, and seeing how my entire life has turned round by introducing a total change to my lifestyle using the carnivore method. I'm now convinced, and it's not a coincidence, that when the low-fat diet regime came in and they were pushing across to nations to low-fat, 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 it's no coincidence that obesity has shot up, diabetes has increased, as dementia and Alzheimer's have now just become much more prevalent across the nation now. And I believe they're all connected, and I think it's fat is the common denominator that's a major contributor. And I think it's the lack of fat is what's contributing. So interesting enough, I was watching a podcast or a post from Professor David Diamond, and he was talking about the myth of high cholesterol being bad. And he mentioned this book. So again, I'll put a link below to be able to order this book. You can get it on Amazon. But you don't need to use the link I've got. Quick disclaimer, if I do use the link, I will be doing it as an affiliate, so it gives me a contribution towards my ambitions with the PhD. But basically, oops, sorry, I just dropped the book on the floor. Never mind. Yeah, but that book really breaks the whole myth about high cholesterol, and that really now reconfirms that my feelings that high fat in the diet, animal fat, is very, very important, and it's the sugars and the glucose that need to be cut out and taken away, and they are hidden in so many foods. It's interesting that the science that we've been following for years, through my lifetime, looking deeper into it, have been sponsored by the likes of Kellogg's and the other big pharmaceutical companies and the other big cereal companies, and the processed food companies are the ones that seem to sponsor this research. So it's influence. So my ambition, if I can get this channel to a level where I can earn sufficient money from it to put towards doing the PhD, then I know it's not going to be influenced by any outside source or force. So therefore, what my findings will be genuine without any outside influence at all. And I'm hoping then to share that with everybody. So that's quite a commitment for me to make, but obviously I've got to get the channel successful first to be able to do it. So really appreciate your time. Please subscribe, please press the little bell sign, because I've got 2 fantastic interviews lined up this week, which I'll be posting up. One of them will be Halloween themed, so it'll be a bit of fun as well. But they're two people, one from the US and one from the UK. There'll be 2 separate interviews, and what they've posted on my channel and the results that they've faced is just mind-blowing. And I've asked them if they'd like to share it. They are happy to share that. So people that can feel that they've got similar issues with regards to diabetes or other inflammatory illnesses, that you might find something that's worthwhile. Again, I repeat, this is not a medical advice. This is purely just a conversation based around what we have found ourselves, our own personal experiments and our own personal views. If you are concerned, then please take professional medical advice. However, listen to what the Carnivore Nation is saying. Not just my nation, but everyone else involved in Carnivore. There are plenty of people now on YouTube out there getting the message out there, and and they're all saying the same thing because it's the same results we're all achieving. So again, thank you very much for watching this one. Please subscribe, please press the old bell so it helps me get the numbers up, and it will help me then generate some revenue for the site so I can pay for the PhD. Brilliant. Keep rocking on, and I'll keep doing updates, and I've got some shorts to do. I've done the film and I've just got to edit them and get them out there really. I'm being a bit lazy really on that front, but it's because I've been trying to spin so many other plates. So thanks again. Thanks for watching the Carnivore Nation, and keep going. Buffaloes, go Bills.